What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd talk about something today that I got in the mail recently from a friend of the channel. He sent it to me and I really wanted to talk about it because it's just a little time capsule in video game history. It's something that you don't see anymore, and I'd love to just show you guys and just talk about a little bit of things that are inside of it. I recently got a really cool care package with a bunch of things in it from my buddy Frankie. You probably know him as RetroFuzion on YouTube. If you haven't checked out his channel, make sure you go over there, give him a subscribe, and tell him I sent you. He sent me a little care package. There was a couple cool things in it, but I really wanted to focus on one, and I'm going to show you guys what that is because I think it's a nice little addition to the collection, and it's just something that you don't see anymore, and it's basically a time capsule of what video game collecting and video game just overall atmosphere used to be back in the day. I really like these type of things, and that's what I want to talk about. So this isn't going to be a long video. I just wanted to show you something really cool that he sent me. All right, let's get into it. So here's what I wanted to show you guys today. GamePro magazine was a very popular video game magazine in the 1990s and 2000s. But they published this back in 1990. And this is just a culmination of all the tips and tricks that they would put inside the magazine, all in one location. And this is actually all sports titles. So these are just like tips and tricks for sports titles. But there was a couple things in here I wanted to show you guys. And you would buy these separately through the back of like Game Pros and things like that. It just talks about different sports games for the NES. But I wanted to show you a couple little cool things here. So on page 50, it's talking about Tecmo Bowl. But one of the passwords you could put in was play Tecmo Bowl as the Chicago Bears against an invisible team. And you would put this code in. And I just thought that was crazy. Like how good you got to be at the game to be able to play against an invisible team and win. You know what I mean? I just thought that was a really, really unique code. So I thought that was kind of cool. Another one that was pretty cool was for Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. So on page 140, there's a bunch of pro tips here for Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. But one tip that I wanted to show you guys that I don't think very many people know is if you're playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and you get knocked down, it tells you right here, do not try to get up until the count reaches 9. The longer you stay down, the more health you're rewarded with when you get up. I don't think very many people knew that. And the only reason I did is, like I said, because this is my favorite NES game. Such a unique thing, because when you're young and you're playing this game, as soon as you got knocked down, you were just mashing the buttons to get back up, you know what I mean? And every now and then I would be like, why didn't it give me very much health, you know what I mean? So that's why, is the longer you stay down, the more health you recover. So you always try to get up when the count reaches 9, because that's the way you'll get the most energy. So I thought that was kind of cool. And one other thing here is there's some codes here, and one of the cool ones is get a busy signal on your game. So if you put the password in, which is the old Nintendo hotline number, you would get a busy signal. Just a little throwback and a little Easter egg that they did back in the day, which I thought was really, really cool. But I'm pretty sure now, if you call this number, well, in the 90s or maybe early 2000s, this was a hotline for like adult entertainment, right? So later on, I guess they got rid of the number and some sex phone line company picked it up, and you would call this and I guess talk to some funk nasty hoes, I guess. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of unique and a cool little tidbit of history. And the last thing I want to talk about is a section in the magazine called Chapter 12, Lean, Mean, and New on the Scene. And these were games that were supposed to be coming out. But there's some in here that I don't really remember, and I want to see if you guys do. For many different systems, Nintendo, TurboGrafx, the Genesis. But there's a game here called Matchbox Racers. Now, a little bit of history about this game is it was almost completely done. But they ended up canceling it at the last minute. So I just thought that was really cool. Matchbox Racers. It looks to be decent, but it was on an isometric 3D track that you would race these things. Going over obstacles, including tunnels, two-way jumps, and even the other drivers could attack you. Super cool. And I don't know, it just never came out here. At first I thought this was but it's not. It was a finished title that they just canceled. And one more here that I want to talk about is Mondu's Fight Palace for the Genesis. This looks ridiculous. This was actually later on released, but they changed the name of it to Slaughter Sport. for the Genesis, which had a completely different cover. The cover was really, really cool though, but it went through a bunch of development changes and all this crap, and I'm glad they changed that name. That's pretty funky. Mondu's Fight Palace. But yeah, guys, that was just a couple little things I'd like to talk about in this book. Oh yeah, and one more thing. You know, you can send off for different versions, because like this thing right here, like this is another one. This was for just action titles. So like Turtles, Batman, Castlevania, all these like platforming titles, you could get one of these little books for just action titles. Pretty cool. But one little thing I wanted to show you here, you can send off for GamePro magazine, or you can get back issues of GamePro. And man, I wish I would have done this back in the day. I mean, each book is $4, except for number 1, and that's $10. But just think of getting these issues now for $4. It's not happening. I know for a fact the first couple of these are very, very, very expensive. The Michael Jackson Moonwalker cover is pretty hard to find, but I just wish I would have known that. I've been collecting these over the years, and they're definitely not $4 a piece anymore. So yeah, that's it, guys. Nothing real fancy today. Just kind of wanted to show you this cool little gift that RetroFuzion, my boy Frankie, gave me. Hopefully I'll get another video out, you guys. And until next time, like I always say, we all can't help everybody, but everybody can help somebody. Take it easy, guys. Keep on reminiscing, y'all.